I want to give you a few laws of success for small business bookkeeping this year. How do you actually perform? How do you actually succeed in small business bookkeeping? I want to first talk to you about the industry trends because you can't really have laws of success if you don't understand what's happening in the industry. It doesn't matter the niche you're in. You are going to pay attention to the trends in the bookkeeping industry. First of all, I want to define for you what bookkeeping is so you have a clear idea how to really successfully run your bookkeeping this year. Bookkeeping is actually the process of tracking all of your company's financial transactions, usually by entering them into accounting software or a physical set of books. Okay, books. Those books are just basically theoretical books. So bookkeeping lets you see exactly where your business is spending money, where your revenue is coming from, and which tax deductions you'll be able to claim at the end of the year. Okay, whether you have an S corporation, a C corporation, an LLC, or even if you are a sole proprietorship. So bookkeeping is pretty simple. Just think of it as a way for you to track all your company's financial transactions. Okay, and usually it happens through a series of debits and credits. So those are journal entries. I'll go into that later on, but those are journal entries that allow you to actually have a clear idea of your financial position, your company's financial position. Now, what does bookkeeping matter anyway? If you are a business, well, you need it for your taxes. You need to do it for your taxes because if the IRS were to knock on your door, you want to make sure that you are able to produce data for the for tax authorities, for IRS authorities. Okay, so that's the first thing. Bookkeeping allows you to do your taxes. Bookkeeping also tells you where your money is going. So cash outflows are really critical if you are a small business owner. You want to have a clear idea about where your money is going. Bookkeeping ensures that you don't miss out on tax deductions because the whole thing is when you actually keep a proper trail of your transactions, you are able to write off some of them come tax time. You also need bookkeeping to borrow money because bookkeeping allows you to prepare financial statements, and those financial statements will help you in really securing a business loan or a business line of credit. And also, bookkeeping helps you catch errors quickly so that you don't really let the mistakes actually fester in your financial processes. So when it comes to the laws of success for small business bookkeeping, it's important to understand that before you start with bookkeeping, I don't care again where you are at. I don't care about your state. I don't care about your location. If you are overseas, I don't care the industry you're in. You always have to separate your business and personal expenses. That's going to be quite essential for your business. Okay, so the first law of success for small business bookkeeping is to actually separate your account. So if you are, the funny thing is you can actually open those accounts at the same bank or credit union where you are at. So you can have maybe one personal account and one business account. Okay, that way you are able to get things done in a pretty clear manner. Okay, now the reason why you want to really separate your business accounts from your personal account is sorry about that. It has to do with liability. I mean, liability is a really big reason. If you are running a corporation or an LLC and there is not sufficient distance between your personal and business finances, there is a chance that you could be held. You could be held personally liable for any debts incurred by your business. Okay, that's called you are actually piercing the corporate veil. So be sure that you are segregating your personal affairs from your business affairs. The next thing you want to do here is to choose a bookkeeping system. That's the second law of success for small business bookkeeping. If you are trying to really successfully run your bookkeeping, you want to choose a bookkeeping system. So there are two main bookkeeping methods. You have single entry and you have double entry bookkeeping. Now, if your business has simple transactions, you can just survive, quote unquote, survive with a single entry bookkeeping system. Otherwise, just go with double entry. I mean, I personally would advise you to go with double entry bookkeeping because it is compliant with tax laws. It is compliant with accounting standards. It is compliant with what investors want to see when they actually investigate your company's your company's books. Now, double entry is more complex though, but it's also more robust and more suitable for established businesses that are actually that are past the hobby stage. So if you have a side hustle and it's currently at the hobby stage, you can just stick with a single entry. But as your business actually grows, you want to really switch everything to double entry. But like I said, just choose double entry right off the bat. That way you don't have to really switch things later on. The third law of small business bookkeeping has to do with the accounting method that you have for your business. So, if you want to successfully run small business bookkeeping this year, I want you to really think about whether you want to choose cash or accrual accounting. So, those are the two accounting methods that you have. So, now the thing is that if you go with cash method, things are pretty simple. It's kind of related to single entry. Accrual is more complex. Okay, so under cash accounting, you record transactions once you only record transactions once money has exchanged hands. So if you bill a customer today, these dollars don't enter your ledger until the money hits your bank account. So you got to see money, 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 money. Okay, no cash, no journal entries. So many small businesses opt for the cash basis of accounting because it's very easy to maintain, doesn't require to track receivables or payables, and tells you exactly how much cash you have on hand at any given point in time. So that's the simpler route to go. Okay. Now, the second method is the accrual accounting method. So under that method, you record income when you bill your customers in the form of accounts receivable, even if they don't pay you for a few months, because if you have extended credit, let's say net 30 or net 45 or net 60 or net 90, you still have time to get the money, but at least the revenue, you record the revenue. Now, the same goes for expenses, which you record when you are billed in the form of accounts payable. Okay. So generally speaking, accrual accounting is better for larger, more established businesses. It gives you a more realistic idea of your business's income and expenses during a period of time and provides a long-term view of the business than cash accounting. Cash accounting doesn't provide that sort of a scalable view. And by the way, accrual accounting is also compliant with U.S. GAAP, so United States generally accepted accounting principles, as well as IFRS, International Financial Reporting Standards. The fourth law of success for small business bookkeeping is actually it has to do with the tools. You want to choose the right tools. And tools are quite essential. Every transaction you make needs to be categorized when it's entered in your books, right? This helps your bookkeeper catch more deductions and will make your life easier if you get audited. And by the way, you can be audited by the IRS, but you can also be audited by state tax authorities. I mean, there are some industries where, like state tax authorities are more likely to audit your business books than others. Okay. For example, if you are in healthcare or you are in hospitality, you might be more likely to be audited. So that's important. Now, 6 months later, an unmarked receipts for lunch at a restaurant might not mean much to you. Was it a client lunch? Did you treat your employees after a successful quarter? So the way you categorize transactions will depend on your business and industry. So generally speaking, your transactions fall into 5 account types. I want you to remember that. There are only 5 account types, and I'm going to put this on the screen so it's pretty clear to you from the get-go. So you have assets, you have liabilities, you have equity, you have revenue, and you have expenses. So those are the 5 categories of transactions that you might have. Again, I want to repeat them: assets, liabilities, equity, revenue, and expenses. So individual line items are then broken down into subcategories called accounts. So that's important. So these days you've got 3 options when it comes to bookkeeping tools. You can actually go with one of dozens of popular cloud accounting solutions like QuickBooks, Zero, or Wave. So these tools can be powerful if you know what you are doing. However, if you don't have a lot of bookkeeping experience or don't have time to learn, you can actually stress yourself out, okay, by using those tools, especially if your accountant ends up telling you you have been using them incorrectly for the past year. You can also do everything via a spreadsheet using tools like Excel or even Google Sheets. Finally, if you want someone else to do your bookkeeping for you, you can sign up for a cloud-based bookkeeping service like Bench. So what happens here is that Bench will do your bookkeeping for you, prepare monthly financial statements, give you expense reports with actionable financial insights, and they can even file your taxes for you when the time comes. So you can have this as a one time as a let's say as an all-in-one shop, okay, as a one-stop shop, if you will. The fifth law of success for small business bookkeeping has to do with how transactions are categorized. Earlier, I told you about having the right tools, right? But now I want you to really pay attention to what you can do when it comes to, so you, of course, you categorize transactions, that's for sure, but you want to make sure that you are able to get things done in a streamlined manner. Okay, so if you are going to be doing your own bookkeeping, it's worth talking to a pro when you set up your system to make sure the accounts you create align with your industry standards and CPA expectations. So that's really important from a scalability point of view, okay? And you want to choose a system for storing your documents too. That's going to help you big time, especially when it comes to scaling your business. So at tax time, the burden is on you to show the validity of all your expenses. So keeping supporting documents for your financial data, like receipts and records, is actually crucial. That's really something to really pay attention to. And diamonds may be forever, but the ink on your expense reports is not, right? So since the IRS accepts digital records, it's actually smart to use a cloud-based system like Dropbox, Evernote, or Google Drive, so you never have to deal with smudged receipts. And you can also use apps like Shoebox, which are specifically made for receipt tracking. And that's going to help you big time, especially if you process multiple transactions throughout the year. One thing I want to say here is that if you are trying to really get things done in a streamlined manner, in a scalable manner, you got to have a system in place that will help you automate your transactions. You got to put something in place that will help you actually get things done in a scalable manner, okay? Whether you are processing one transaction or processing 1 million transactions in your business, having the proper system in place can help you go really far. One thing I also want to say here is that when it comes to choosing a system for storing your documents, just make sure the system has the kind of security or protocol that you want to really have. Otherwise, you are exposing your company's data to the outside world, whether especially if they are storing your data on the cloud. You want things to be protected. Another law of success for small business bookkeeping is how you organize your deductions. Okay, so you want to organize your deductions properly, and this has to do with your tax obligations. So the IRS golden rules on deductions is that they must be both ordinary and necessary for your business. So ordinary means what? It has to be a common expense in your industry, in your field, and they must be necessary for your business. So, for example, pens would be an ordinary expense for a writer, but a $900 pen might not fall into the category of necessary. So just make sure that the expense is reasonable, it is decent, okay? The amount is decent. So, but even if an expense is ordinary and necessary, you may still not be able to deduct all of it on your taxes. Just because you do most of your work from your dining room table doesn't mean that you can deduct your entire monthly rent, right? So it's one of those things where you have to really be strategic. Luckily, the IRS has put together a comprehensive guide on business deduction that you can really consult on their website if you are ever unsure about a certain deduction, okay? The last law of success for small business bookkeeping I want to really share with you is the how you go about bookkeeping, how you go about having a bookkeeping routine. You have to make bookkeeping a habit. If you are a busy small business owner with a million things to do, it's very easy to let bookkeeping fall by the wayside. One way to avoid that is to actually make it a habit. So you want to try setting aside and scheduling a bookkeeping day once a month to stay on top of your financials. This will help you big time in the long run, believe me. Believe me. Okay, you want to use that day to you can enter any missing transactions, reconcile bank statements, review your financial statements from the last month, and make any major changes to your accounting or even bookkeeping. Okay, and if you are months or years behind, you might want to get a bookkeeper to do some catch-up bookkeeping for you. So that's important. Let me give you a few extras here. So I've just when it comes to laws of success for small business bookkeeping, I shared with you the industry trends, the steps you need to put into place. But I want to share with you a little bit of some extras in terms of DIY versus professional bookkeeping. The thing is that whether you do it yourself or you outsource it, it has to do with the time you have for bookkeeping, your skill set, but also the stage where your business is at. In other words, how complex your transactions are. So most small businesses will either do their books themselves or outsource the work to a professional. So how do you choose a method that is actually suitable for you? Let's first talk about the DIY approach. So if your business is a side project with a limited budget, you can get by going the DIY route. You can get by, especially if you have a single entry method of accounting. You might still consider consulting with a CPA or bookkeeper at the very beginning so that you can set a strong foundation right off the bat. Just make sure that you are talking to the right person who understands your industry pretty well. Okay? But most small businesses in the hobbyist stage can get by using either a simple spreadsheet, okay, or one of the many accounting or bookkeeping software solutions on the market. So that's the DIY approach. What about outsourcing to a professional? Well, if bookkeeping keeps getting pushed aside as your business starts growing and you simply can't find the time to get your books in order every month, you should actually consider hiring a professional to help you. So you can actually just reach out to having like a full-time bookkeeper to really work in your company, or you can reach out to you can outsource your bookkeeping to a firm such as like you have a lot of them that really offer bookkeeping services. Okay, and so you are able to know exactly what works, what doesn't work, and when you outsource your bookkeeping, you're able to have the professional produce actually financial statements, keep track of your daily expenses, and help make tax time a breeze for you. In conclusion to this conversation, I share with you the laws of success for small business bookkeeping. I give you the industry trends, the steps, the extras, and now the conclusion. Thank you so much. God bless you. I will see you next time. Until then, remember, stay marvelous.